This is Diana Lenska.
And I am Michael Leo Sentai.
And this is Indie View, where you, the filmmaker, and your film are the star. Now today we have two very different type of films that we will be reviewing. The first is up your alley,
Sure is.
Michael.
Very much.
A very quirky, unusual take on the Frankenstein story. It's an nearly a 19-minute short called Bride of Frankie. Now this was submitted to the Chautauqua International Film Festival in the category of Best Horror and Thriller. Debbie Snively, if I'm getting her name right, she's from Cleveland Heights, Ohio, is the director and writer of this short that we will be showing you the trailer of, and she made this on a $40,000 budget.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes, yes. So what we're going to do, we will show you the trailer now, A Bride of Frankie, and then Michael and I will come back and give you our reviews. Here it is, Bride of Frankie.
Welcome to this brave new world of gods and monsters, or as I like to call it, home. You are not an animal. Hang in there, big guy. We'll find our way. Shelley, Monty. You've got to woo her.
Well, as usual, I'm going to let you start and get your,
Okay.
What was your first impression and what did you think of this take on the Frankenstein story?
Well, right away, I love gothic horror classic pieces, so of course it was right up my alley. I love that it was shot in black and white, or
Yes.
made into black and white. It always gives you that feeling that it is an older piece. I really loved that it was a nod to a classic horror film like, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. There were good, clean effects as well. I think that it looked as though there might have been a little bit of maybe some chroma keying going on, but it was very hard to tell. So I appreciated that type of thing too. As far as a rating, I gave it a 9.8 out of 10 because I thought it was really rather well done. And the costumes were great too. The costumes were awesome. They definitely looked like they were from a film from that time period of maybe the 1930s or 20s.
1930s.
So
And did
I
you
love
see
that.
the old magazine?
I
There's a
did.
scene where the character is looking at an old period magazine. So she did a great job for a young director and writer in the film industry. And some of the special effects were, again,
Yes.
very well done. The storyline, the concept, the little twist on the story, which is always a good filmmaker, when they can add something special to the story and get that extra little something to the story or a little twist to what's going to come at the end. And I always love that. And we're not going to give that away, but you'll find out what the little twist is when you do see the full short Bride of Frankie. And my rating on Bride of Frankie was a 9.
Wonderful.
So, we are going to go to our next film, which is a completely different type of film. It is from a first-time filmmaker, Stephen Farina. He's a director, writer, and producer. It's nearly 39-minute short, which is called The Trial of Horatio Hough. And Stephen Farina is from Potsdam, New York. He's a professor of communication and media at Clarkston University. He's a published author, and a few of his works are The Grid and the Village and Losing Electricity. So we're going to show you the trailer right now of the trial of Horatio Hough, and then Michael and I will come back with our rating and our review. Here is the trailer for the trial of Horatio Hough. Well, Michael, again, you have the floor.
Okay, great. I really loved the way it was shot. It had a really realistic feeling to it,
Yes.
of course. You can definitely feel the history.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people might not think of this or notice this in films. I really enjoyed the way that there was snow that was hitting the lens. I thought that was really creative.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times films shy away from having water hit or snow, but I think that adds a really interesting layer. It makes it a little more real.
I think that was actually happening when they,
Yes.
that was
Right.
happening. And I think probably whatever permissions they had to get to film, to search for this cave. This is a true story. Again, one of those little periods of our history, if somebody is not famous or well-known worldwide or nationwide, you may not know, but it has to do a documentary on the Underground Railroad and this individual, Horatio Hough, and a trial that he was put through at his church. It's showing the hypocrisy of Christianity at that
Yes.
time, where you have people who claim, they believe in the Bible, believe in Jesus, or would use the premise of scriptures to also sanction slavery at that time. And he was very much against it,
Yes.
Horatio Hough. And his church was going to ban him from attending the church because he was actually an abolitionist and working to save slaves and get them transported to safety. And on his property, he had a cave. And what this documentary deals with is them searching for the cave, finding it. I'm not going to give away too much of the details, but it's so well done. And I'm
It's very
usually
well
not a documentary lover.
Right.
So when I can enjoy it, and like you said, you feel
You feel
the
the
history.
history.
You get to know this person. And when you see that countryside, so much of it is still pretty much probably intact. There's probably changes, of course. But you have enough where there's nothing built up around this area, so you can still feel the history
Yes.
that's there.
That's what I was trying to get at. You can definitely
Yes.
feel it.
And what I loved, and I don't know if you felt the same thing, when they show the historic documents, the writings, which you can still read pretty clearly. A lot of time, if you've ever seen 19th century
Very hard to
documents, it's
read.
difficult to read.
Yes.
And they're highlighting as they're giving you the information from his trial, what was taking place, so you get into the heart and mind and soul, not only of Horatio, but of the church, of the individuals who were for abolition and helping the slaves and those who are against it within the church. This is one of those documentaries that is a must-see.
Yes.
It will be screened at the Chautauqua International Film Festival, so if you're going to be in Western New York, you have to come. You have to see this among some of the other great films we'll be screening. Now, my rating for this, I gave it a rating of 9.
I also gave it a rating of 9, so there you have it.
We're always pretty close,
Must
we're the
see.
same, we
Yes.
really are. Well, this was another, I guess, great episode of
Yes.
Indie View, and again, please send us your comments, anything that we could do to improve the show. If you want to submit a film, you can send it to us to indieviewtv@gmail.com. So again, this is Diana Lenska,
And I'm Michael Leo Sentai.
and this was Indie View. Take care.